Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, or if you are new here, welcome. Today I have some much needed holiday prep that I need to get to, so I am taking you along with me. I am super excited because Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. It always has been. I love getting together with family and just spending time in the kitchen, baking and cooking. And we have so much family that comes in from out of town. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody and spending some much needed time together. I do not host for Thanksgiving, so I do not have a ton of things to do around the house. I'm just wanting to get everything kind of put together. I need to do some laundry, I need to clean the bathrooms, kind of clean up around the house, and then I'm wanting to start on my baked goods that I'm needing to do for Thanksgiving. So we're not expecting company, but I like to kind of leave it. We have a lot going on, so whenever we leave the house several times to kind of spend most of this week away, I like that we are leaving and coming back to a nice clean house. This year, I am in charge of doing a lot of the desserts for Thanksgiving. This is actually the first year in a long time. I used to host Thanksgiving when we lived back in Chicago, and I have not hosted for a number of years. So my mom usually hosts, everybody goes over there, and my grandmother is usually the one that makes almost all of the desserts for Thanksgiving. Usually I'll bring one or two, but this year my grandmother is out of town and she is not doing any of the desserts, and that has almost primarily fallen on me. So I'm actually really excited to do a ton of desserts. So I kind of need to get a little bit of a head start on that, and I'm going to be getting to some of that today. However, I did not actually get to nearly as much as I was hoping to this day. I woke up with, it's probably considered a migraine, like right behind my eyes. And so the day that I'm doing this voiceover, I am significantly better. I feel pressure behind my eyes, but I can actually function without taking multiple breaks. So the day that I'm filming this, you will not see, but I take a ton of breaks, and I'm just really not feeling well. So I do what I can and then I rest. I end up taking a nap during the middle of this, but I'm trying to kind of get up and be as active as possible, just because I know that there was a lot that I was wanting to accomplish, and I know that I'll feel a lot better, and just kind of trying to get myself moving. Drinking a ton of water and resting as much as possible. So you will not see that in this video, but just know that's kind of what's going on behind the scenes. I was just kind of getting to the things that I could. And then by the evening, I would say I was significantly better. So I still had somewhat of like a throbbing behind my eyes, but by the evening, most of it was gone. I went to bed early and now I've woken up and I feel significantly better. So I did not get to as much as I wanted to in this video, but I did get somewhat of a head start on things, and I'm pretty happy with what I accomplished while I wasn't really feeling that great. Not only did I wake up not feeling well, it was kind of a weird morning. So this monstera plant I have rooting in this like jar, and I've moved it a couple of times. So the original place that it was is where the tree is. So I've been trying to find a different location for it. And I ended up putting it in this window, not really thinking that that was going to be a permanent location, but I just never moved it after I put it there. So I walked in this morning to the kitchen, and I think one of the cats had tipped it over, trying to drink out of it or paw in it or something. So it was spilled everywhere. I refilled it, and then I put it in a different location, hoping that they won't find it there. But again, I don't know if that's going to be a permanent location either. I know I shared recently about a chore rotation chart that I've started with the kids. And I feel like it has helped tremendously. So like even today, where I haven't necessarily like cleaned in a couple days. I've wiped things down and, done like daily things, but I feel like I don't really have too much to do because it has been helping so much. The kids, so they do a rotational chart each night, and me and my husband, we kind of assist with things like that. So we're all doing stuff, and we do it right after dinner, and we have various things. So like one of the chores, for instance, is to go through the kitchen and kind of close it down for the night, put away leftovers, wipe everything down, help with dishes, anything like that to close down the kitchen. That's one of the chores. And then another chore is to sweep or vacuum and mop the kitchen. And it's not with the spin mop, it is just with the spray mop. And then on the weekends, I will like do more of a deeper mop with my spin mop. So that has been really nice. The kitchen seems to always be clean, and that is pretty super exciting. So I don't have a ton to do. It's just really just some odds and ends. I didn't get to the deep cleaning of our bathrooms this weekend. And so I was wanting to do that. That is another thing on the rotational chart is I, on the weekends, will do a deeper clean in the bathrooms. And then during the week, the kids rotate, kind of just wiping down the bathroom, cleaning out the toilet really quick, just very quick cleaning, but it gets touched every day and it pretty much stays clean. I decided to go ahead and get started on dinner. It is still in the morning, but I figured that it would be something good to start since I was really not feeling well. I had already taken medicine, and it was not kicking in. It had been several hours. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to throw a huge pot of soup together on the stove. And if I need to nap or I need to really not be present, the kids could grab that for lunch. They could have it throughout the day if they're wanting, or dinner will be ready when my husband gets home. So I was trying to think ahead and just throw something very simple together, and something that if I knew I needed to kind of be absent for, that I could be. So I am putting together, I don't even know if it really has a name, but it's like a sausage soup. I don't know. So it is basically, I have on the stove 2 pounds of Italian sausage going, and I'm browning that with some onions. I'm cutting up some carrots and celery. I'll kind of saute all those on the stove, and then I'll add in some chicken broth and some cream, and just kind of I'll do some seasonings, like Italian style seasonings. So I'm not really sure exactly what the recipe is called. I've made this a handful of times. I've probably made it on my channel before, but it has definitely been a while. So I'm throwing that together. It is a quick and easy recipe, and I'll have it down below in the description box if you want to try it out too. I have made this soup before, like I said, but the only difference I did, and I feel like I wouldn't do this again, is I added 2 pounds of the Italian sausage, and I feel like for my family in particular, it was just too much. It was like too much sausage, and it's not that it overwhelmed the dish or anything. It was just, we're not huge on like thick, hearty soups. And so, I think that was a little bit overwhelming for us. We like it a little bit more on like the soupier side, and it was just a little bit too much like Italian sausage. So I would just stick with the 1 pound like I usually do. And the only reason I did do the 2 pounds was because I was, like I said, trying to kind of make a huge pot. So then if anyone wanted to have it for lunch or before dinner, we would have plenty and people could eat it, throughout the day, and I wasn't going to have to make a ton of different meals throughout the day. Once I have all the veggies all in there and I put all the seasonings that I was wanting, I'm adding a couple tablespoons of flour to thicken it up. So I just add it straight to the meat mixture before I put in the liquids, and I'm gonna kind of stir it up, get it fully coated all over the meat, and then I'll put in a couple cups of chicken broth. Now the recipe I think had like 4 or 5 cups of chicken broth, and I just did it until I wanted to because like I said, I'm trying to just kind of fill it up, and so I did, a decent amount, and then I figured I would just go in and adjust it if I needed to with like flour for thickness. If you've been here a while, you know that I am not one to follow a recipe usually. I just follow my heart, and if I want to add more of something or less, I usually do. That is the beauty about cooking. You do not have to be perfect, and you can kind of adjust recipes based on your own wants and needs. So that is always the recipes that I go for are ones that I can usually adjust however I want based on what I have or how I'm feeling that day. Here's how the soup was. After a little bit of simmering on the stove, I let it kind of just go most of the day, simmering really low. After I got to this point and it was thicker, I ended up turning it down, but I kind of kept it on a very low amount in case the kids wanted to go in and have some. So I rested for a while, and I decided to tackle the laundry that I threw on my bed. And this was about 2 loads, maybe 2.5, I don't even know, but it has built up. I really need to start staying on top of it again, but if you are like me and you just absolutely despise laundry, it is so hard to stay on track like that. So I'm just kind of getting to what I can and calling that good enough for the day. I wonder if I will ever be able to stay on top of the laundry mountains. I do good for a while, and then it starts to get to me. One thing that I do to really stay on top of it, though, is I put it in a spot that kind of forces me to do it. So my bed, for instance, I really want to lay down and rest. So in order to do that, I decided to get through the laundry, and then my reward will be I'll be able to lay in my bed. I will also usually like put it on the couch or put it on the dining room table, because then it forces me or my husband to actually do it. I feel like if it's right there staring at us, we really can't avoid it. So that has been my thing recently, and that has helped the absolute most to get through it. I'm also wondering, so while I'm doing laundry, I usually always watch something. And because we're like getting into the holiday spirit, one thing that I watch on repeat, I should actually be really embarrassed about this, but I watch Christmas Vacation almost on a daily basis during the holiday season. Do you have a favorite Christmas movie or holiday movie that you watch on the repeat throughout the season? It's like my comfort movie. I don't even know how to explain it, but it is like while I'm wrapping gifts, it's always like, it's like a background noise. So while I'm doing things, usually during the holiday season, it is always Christmas Vacation that is on in the background. So that is what I was watching for one of the first times since the holiday season has kind of started. We hooked up our DVD player, and I have it on DVD, so I can watch it as many times as I want, and I definitely do during the holiday season. But do you also have one that you watch on repeat like me, or am I the odd one out? Okay, now that I have actually started feeling better at this point, I am going to be starting on some of my Thanksgiving stuff that I'm going to be bringing. This was one thing that I actually did not plan, but it is a huge favorite of my kids in particular, and everybody that tries it whenever I make it, they're usually a huge fan. If you like Reese's flavored things, this is going to be totally a winner for you. Again, I don't know what these are called, but I always call them peanut butter bars. And basically, I am melting butter and peanut butter, and I'm mixing them together. I'll have the recipe down below in the description box if you want to try it. I have made this on my channel before, but again, it's been a little bit, and I figured I'll just go ahead and show you guys again because this one is seriously a keeper. So I am mixing together some peanut butter, some melted butter. I'll put in some powdered sugar. I'll mix that together really well. And then I'm going to put in, the recipe does not call for vanilla, but I feel like it should be in there, so I added it. And then I'll also put in some graham cracker crumbs, and it makes a really great base. We'll pour chocolate over the top, and it tastes so similar to a Reese's, but it has like these really great crunches from the graham cracker crumbs, and it's super delicious. So I thought my kids would really enjoy if I brought this to Thanksgiving also. My daughter, she's not a huge fan of pies. She does like the chocolate cream ones that I'll be bringing, but I figured if she doesn't get any of that, or if she's just not feeling pie, that these she usually absolutely loves, so she could have these instead. Another reason why I am such a fan of these are they're no bake. So you can just put it all together and then pop it in the fridge and let them set for, I don't know, an hour. It sets super quick. And then they are completely done. You can cut them. But one thing that is imperative is the parchment paper. It makes it incredibly easy to pull the bars out once they have set in one big pan, and then you can slice them and cut them into pieces really nicely. So always do the parchment paper. It is such a lifesaver with things like this, and it also makes cleanup really easy. So I'm pressing the graham cracker mixture into the bottom of this pan and kind of trying to get it just more solid feeling. The recipe does call for a really small pan. It's like 8 by 8. I used obviously a much bigger pan, and I'm not really sure what that one is, like 8 by 11 maybe. But for a couple of reasons, I like the larger pan. One, thought it would be a lot better to have a larger pan for Thanksgiving, like to bring for more people. And then also, it makes the bars not as thick. When you put them in the 8 by 8 pan, it almost seems like they're too thick and it's too much. So I like to kind of spread them out a little bit, and that way they're not as thick, and it's like not too much of, you know, like how if you eat like too many Reese's, I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean. So anyway, I spread them out, and I actually personally like that a little bit better. So now that I have that pressed in, I am making the chocolate layer to go on top, and I'm just melting chocolate chips with just a dab of peanut butter. I don't really listen to the recipe for that because I feel like it's a little bit too much peanut butter. So there's enough in the base, and I don't feel like it needs too much more than just a dollop of peanut butter in the top, you know, chocolate mixture. So I add a dollop, and I just melt those together in 30-second intervals, and then I will pour that over top once it gets to about this point where it is nice and smooth. So then I'll pour it and spread it over top evenly, and then I'll put it in the fridge for it to set. I'm curious, if you are doing desserts for Thanksgiving, what are some things that you feel like are a must at your Thanksgiving table? I know that my family, we have a huge family for Thanksgiving, and I feel like the majority is pies. We have, brownies and other little odds and ends, but the pies are definitely the showstopper. So that is something that I'm actually really excited to start doing. I'm planning on doing that today, the day that I'm doing this voiceover and posting the video. So I will have some of that available this weekend, I believe is when I'll post it, but I'm not going to go kind of crazy with it because I just posted some of the pies and stuff not that long ago. So I'm not really going to be posting too much, but I did want to share some of the stuff that I'll be making for Thanksgiving, and I'll do that this weekend. One thing that I have kind of become known for are my cinnamon rolls, and I have been asked a number of times to bring them to various things. So I was supposed to bring them over the weekend, and I just did not have any time. So I didn't bring them over the weekend. We do a family baking day the Sunday before Thanksgiving. So we have a lot of guests that come in from out of town, and they stay, at various places. But one thing that we do is we bake candies and cookies and just all kinds of different baked things. And it's not even just that, like we'll have dips and appetizers and all kinds of things that we'll make ahead of time. And that way, during everybody's different events and family functions that they go to throughout the week, they can bring candies and cookies, and we kind of separate everything, and people just bring, whatever they want afterwards. So it's nice. We do that every single Sunday before Thanksgiving every year, and it has been like a family tradition, something that I always look forward to. And I was asked to bring my cinnamon rolls, but like I said, it was just too much going on and I didn't get to it. So now I've been asked to bring them to Thanksgiving. So I'm going to start prepping the dough for that because it is sourdough, so it takes a little bit longer to kind of throw together, especially in my kitchen, because now it is a little colder in my kitchen with the temperatures dropping. So I'm going to get started on the dough, and then I'll end up finishing it up and putting the rolls together and everything when I kind of do the pies and stuff like that. So I'm going to put those in a disposable thing and bring them super early on Thanksgiving morning, and that way before everything gets done, people can kind of snack on them for breakfast in the morning. I have the dough all mixed together for that, and I am letting it do its first rise. So while it was doing that, I wanted to start on the bathrooms. So this is my bathroom, and the kids have been using it because we didn't break it, but I couldn't reach it, and like my son couldn't figure it out. But anyway, so my son went to go use his shower in the main bathroom, and in the morning, and what is it called, the pole that holds up like the shower curtain and stuff, it's a weird one, like it's curved, and I don't know. I never mess with it because it kind of terrifies me and it's hard to fix. So he ended up doing something and it fell, and we didn't know if we broke it, and it was like this whole thing. So we couldn't put it up, and the kids ended up all like using my bathroom throughout the day to use the shower. So after everybody was done showering and using my bathroom, I'm like, you know what, I need to go in and kind of give it a deeper clean. And it's funny because I'm using Ajax, which is fine. I don't usually use it. I usually use like a toilet bowl cleaner, like a liquid one. And however, I said that my kids are doing this like rotational chart. And they've like, I don't know where any of my cleaning products are. So like I went to go find things, and I think I spent like 15 or 20 minutes looking for my toilet bowl cleaner, and along with other things, like there's various other things. It took me a hot second to actually find my toilet brush. So I don't know. It's nice because they're helping clean and stuff. But then again, it's like whenever I go to clean like my bathroom, for instance, it takes a while to find all my cleaning products. So anyway, but I couldn't find my toilet bowl cleaner, so I ended up using just Ajax, and that worked out great. It was fine. But it was funny because after I finished my bathroom, I went to go put some dirty clothes in the hamper, and that is where I found my toilet bowl cleaner. It wasn't in the hamper, but it was like on the shelf right above the hamper where we keep the bath towels for the other bathroom. So I'm like, why would the toilet bowl cleaner be there? So anyway, I finally found it. That is where it was. But I went ahead and I started cleaning the bathroom, giving it a nicer deep clean, because the kids, like I said, they go in and they'll wipe things down and they'll clean the toilet bowl, but they don't do a deep clean. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I feel like as long as they can maintain it throughout the week, I am perfectly fine with my husband and I going in on the weekends and giving the bathrooms a deeper clean. And it just, I don't know, it is so much nicer. It's like a weight off of your shoulders. I can't explain it, but it is so helpful to have the kids start this routine. It's like night and day, I feel like. So I'll probably be sharing it at some point soon because, like I said, it has really helped me tremendously. And so if it is something that will help out another mom, I would absolutely love to share it. So this is totally off topic, but this just reminded me, you see my slippers? I don't know what it is, but Ted, he has anxiety. He always has. And I don't know what his deal is, but like my slippers, not even just these, like all of them, all of my slippers are like his emotional support. Like my slippers are his emotional support slippers. And so if he is like really super anxious, we have to put my slippers up because he'll like rip them to shreds. And it's only my slippers that he targets. It's so super weird. And he's done it over the years. So anyway, these are the only ones I have left. And luckily for me, he's like been really not avoiding them, but like he hasn't cared. And I have managed to have them for, I believe, 1 year. I think I got them last Christmas. And so I have managed to keep them that long. And however, I think it was this evening or the evening before, I'm not sure. We went out and we came back, and he must have been feeling anxious because he actually got them out of the closet, and he didn't tear them up, thankfully, but he just like relocated them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thankfully we got home when we did, because he probably would have torn them up. I don't know what it is. Does anybody else have like anxious dogs that tear things up? It's not that he's like a destructive dog. He just has really bad anxiety, and if he is having a really anxious day, he tends to go after my slippers. Anyway, I am getting to some vacuuming. It has been raining for a number of days here for the most part. It's been quite a bit of rain, and which is great because we've been under like burn bans for a lot of our area. And it's great, but the dogs have been inside, and I just know that there is so much pet fur and everything accumulating. So I'm trying to stay on top of that and get to vacuuming my room in particular, which is where they usually are laying and stuff for most of the time. Now the peanut butter bars are finally set, so I'm going to pull them out, see how easy they come out of the pan when you have that parchment paper. So always use the parchment paper. And to do this, which I wasn't very great at, you want to score the chocolate before you actually cut into the bars. So I started scoring the chocolate, but then I didn't do it enough, and the chocolate did end up cracking on some of them. I don't really care very much. It's fine. It will all taste wonderful anyway, cracked or not. So But if you want them absolutely perfect, you're going to want to completely score the chocolate over top first before cutting them into bars. And then once I had these all cut, my daughter helped me pick up. She did one side of the parchment paper, I did the other, and we put it right back in the pan just like we had taken them out. Here is the thickness that I was talking about. This I feel like is the perfect thickness for these, because otherwise it is just like too much peanut butter, unless you're an absolute lover of peanut butter, which I like peanut butter, but I'm not crazy about it. So this is the perfect amount for me, and I know it's going to be perfect too for like Thanksgiving too, when there is a ton of other dishes and maybe you want to try, to kind of sample other ones, but that was the perfect quantity for us, in my opinion. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope to see you this weekend when I post another video. I'm probably going to do the stuff that I do for Thanksgiving this weekend. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!